Safety.
Right now, a dramatic and fiery accident. The driver of an RV losing control and crashing, killing 2 people.
The driver of the RV lost control of the vehicle. 5 were killed in the accident.
It turned out to be the worst accident I've ever seen in my life.
We've been a lot more concerned about safety.
You're essentially subjecting a home to an earthquake every time you drive.
It does not work in your advantage for maneuverability and for braking. There's only so much you can do.
When you buy a rig and you pull it off the lot, you assume it's ready to go. On your rig that will stabilize.
So what we do at WeldTec Design is completely overhaul the suspension in your RV for the safety of you and your family. You own a Class A RV, and it's no secret that they drive horrible and handle terrible. Most Class A F53 RVs are not safe. What we do is make them safer, easier to handle, and more comfortable to drive in. You don't like the way your Ford Class A F53 drives? Let's see if we can fix that.
We have dialed in killer suspension for vans. We have dialed in killer suspension for the Class B RV. We have dialed in killer suspension for the Class C RV. And now, after hours, days, weeks, and months of testing, we have developed the best suspension in the world for Class A RVs.
Turn 2 coming up. This thing is definitely super squirrely.
This is Mike. He's really unhappy how his F53 Class A RV drives and wants to sell it. He's allowed us to use the RV for testing our new suspension. Let's wait till the end and see if he ends up changing his mind.
Come to this backcountry road, I don't know how many times, all with the goal of dialing in the F53 suspension. However, we joke around that this road just might be cursed after... Marcus, you may need to get out if you can't see. You're in the bushes. Where are you? Marcus! You landed in the bushes. Marcus, are you kidding me? Oh my God! However, we didn't let that stop us from completing our goal, which was dialing in the F53 suspension to give you the best ride available. So right now, 25 miles an hour, like, it doesn't feel too bad. It's where you start to pick up that speed, you start to notice it.
Yikes! I'm getting rocked in my chair. This is not an optimal ride condition.
You have to slow down. So now we're back down to 30 miles an hour. It's just not safe. So welcome to the world of the F53 chassis. And so testing began. We tested, and we tested, and we tested, and we tested again and again. We have installed the King 2.5 shock. My initial take is that the compression is a little bit heavy and the rebound is a little bit light. So we're actually gonna head back to the shock, open them up, change the valving in it, and do this all over again. So what's so special about the King 2.5 shock?
On a basic level, shocks consist of a body, a shaft, and a piston, which has holes in it as well as a small stack of washer-like rings on either side called shims. The body contains oil, and oil flows through the piston with resistance according to how many holes are in the piston, as well as how the shims are stacked. The more oil volume in a shock, the greater the cooling effect is, and the greater dampening to your vehicle, resulting in a smoother and better ride quality. King 2.5 shocks are bigger than the OEM, made of quality materials, and are rebuildable. Here is a new OEM shock. Merely pray for the King 2.5s. Shock oil is important as it helps dissipate the heat created from your suspension.
We're gonna drill into some shocks. We drain the oil from 3 different OEM shocks, all with different mileages. As that oil turns green, it gets burnt out. The performance of your shock decreases and the ride becomes worse. King Blue Performance Shock Oil will provide a better performance for your shock, greater cooling, and last longer. Oil from a brand new OEM shock. OEM shock with 150,000 miles. Oil from an OEM shock with 100,000 miles. wow, is this thing becoming so much more fun to drive. From the first time we started out on this trek months ago, we were driving 25, 30 down this road, and now it's kind of wild. We're staying at a constant like 50 miles an hour. Of course, I do feel like there's probably a couple more changes that I'm going to make just because I want this to be perfect for everybody, but this is by far the most fun I've had driving this coach.
The RV drives amazing compared to before.
Many of these Class A RVs lack the clearance and load carrying capacity needed for safe operation.
The solution?
Add a leaf. The design is parabolic, meaning it tapers off and gets thinner on the ends. The arc also allows for an air gap, resulting in a smoother ride. The thin piece of steel is added to the bottom of your leaf pack, adding up to 2 inches of height and more load carrying capacity. An adjustable drag link for steering correction will be needed to keep your steering wheel aligned.
There's one more thing you should know.
Thank you for calling Geico's Emergency Road Service. May I have your policy number to further assist you?
What is the #1 reason for Class A RV insurance claims?
The obvious concern is the effect on the driver's ability to steer.
Unfortunately, we've had customers that have had front-end blowouts. These are actual photos of our customers, their coaches, and tragically, some of them had very sad endings.
The steering stabilizer is the last secret ingredient to the F53 suspension package. This could very well be the piece of equipment to save your life in the case of a front tire blowout. The stabilizer reduces wheel feedback from tire movement and is similar in design to the shocks. The difference being there's equal valving on both sides. Quality materials are used, and yes, the steering stabilizer is completely rebuildable. Mike came back to test drive his newly outfitted RV. These are the final moments before we hear from him whether or not it made a difference. All our hard work comes down to this.
It is great. Felt really good even swerving that thing around. I felt like I was in control the whole time. I would have not even attempted to try to do that. Unbelievable difference. And to do that in this, be able to go places, go anywhere you want, and you're bringing your house with you, it's great. I mean, it's the only way to go, having a motorhome, it's like no other.